Good afternoon, everybody. Phil Resch here with Valor Financial Specialists. And today, what we're going to talk about in our training is how to find your natural market. I think that's probably one of the most important things in this independent industry that really helps make or break you. So, I want to dive in today and really have a good conversation around this. And we'll start out first off, just talking real quick about the company. So, Valor Financial Specialist was established last year. July 14th was the official date, I guess you could say, of Valor Financial Specialist. And and I don't want to shy away from the fact that I've been doing this for over 16 years, close to 17 now. Had the opportunity to work with different types of markets and people, financial advisors, independent agents, career agents. So I've been around and service and help people. And just wanted to share that, in this industry, I've worked with the small cases, your 10-year, $100,000 terms, all the way up to this case, which was a $200 million case. We worked with our team and got 11 different carriers to offer on this case. 200 million was approved. All the carriers had to get aligned to get approved for the 200 million. Some didn't want to give the guy preferred. We got them all to go preferred. And he ended up taking about 100 million of it, but it was really a awesome opportunity. Agent made a pretty good take on it. And, more importantly, we help the client who has a high net worth protect that against the government in the long run. So that's what you get with us here at Valor is that industry experience. And really the mission is to fortify you with the expertise to give you that confidence so you can navigate all these type of complexities that we have in the landscape. And still, most importantly, upholding our principles of courage and valor, which is what defines us. We want to stay ethical and provide that value proposition for you to give a good story to your client. Our vision is anchored in a commitment to offer solutions that hold a lot of potential, but yet are not often talked about. I mean, the insurance industry is not a sexy conversation by any means. No one wakes up in the morning and says, I think I'm going to buy life insurance today. So that's the interesting thing about it is we have a very cool product suite that not a lot of people talk about. And some of the solutions that we have here at Valor include a technology platform, allowing you the opportunity to track your cases, quoting engines, advanced marketing software engines, the ability and opportunity for you to grow. We got carriers and contracts at your fingertips to give you what you need to be successful. I like to say there is no client left behind if they're insurable. We have someone who will offer you a solution. Valor programs and resources. When you look at that, it's basically some additional stuff that we have at our fingertips, utilizing a marketing team, marketing software to enhance your value proposition as well. So I do have a marketing team that provides different ways to have you go to market, depending on how you want to go to market. Training, support, and mentorship. That's what we're doing here tonight. I have no problem doing trainings on a weekly basis. The support you're going to get from me, a lot of people in my past said that they didn't know when I slept because I was always there and responsive. And the mentorship, I'll be there when you need me. If there's an opportunity for me to come out and help you with point of sale, that's what I love to do and can gladly help out from that standpoint too. And lastly, when we look at the offered services that we have here at Valor Financial Specialists, it does not stop at just life insurance or annuities. That is one of our bread and butter pieces to the puzzle, but we do have life insurance, all different types, whole life, IULs, current assumption, term. We've got annuities, fixed index annuities, MIGAs, fixed annuities. So we have all those too. Premium finance, that's a more advanced conversation to have. We'll talk a little bit about that tonight. Life settlement options, that's another intriguing niche that some people like to work with. Traditional disability and long-term care, and even hybrid long-term care. So that is a animal unto itself, and it's only going to get more important as we continue to move along. As the gray wave continues to mature, there's more needs to have conversations around things like long-term care. You also have ACA or Affordable Care Act and Medicare, group health and group term, and even real estate lending opportunities for alternative investment strategies. So there's a lot here that we can help you be successful in this industry. And when we talk today about our agenda, how to find your natural markets, we're really looking at three different types of topics here. What do you know? Who do you know? And what can you do? And that's the premise of what we're going to talk about today to get into your natural market. So when we first think about, what do you know? Really the question is what is your expertise? Now, I am lucky because I grew up in Connecticut, the insurance capital of the country, or at least it used to be. And with that, I was born and bred inside of the insurance industry, which has helped that become one of my expertise. But when you think about it, it's not the first thing I always talk about. So, what do you like to talk about? What is something that excites you? And also remember, in this industry, it's our job to focus more on listening. What do they like to talk about? What are you going to ask from a probing question standpoint to help them build that rapport with you? Did you work in a specific period for a long time? So growing up in work before I got into the insurance industry, I did retail. I worked at Circuit City. I became a manager, a tech department manager, and that is a part of my life. That is what helped me become more extroverted versus introverted, more of a teacher, trainer, coach versus someone who just, stuck to himself, for example's sake. And so, can I talk about technology? Absolutely. I love technology. I built a computer on a wall one time. I mean, there's just things that you can invoke in your conversation, but how does that really relate to what you're doing now? That's always a great question. So, as a teacher, trainer, coach, a lot of times I would relate to the situations I had in retail to what I have today. So I will talk to one of my agents. One of my agents says, "Phil, I had the situation where this client kept repeating this, even though I told him this." And I said, "Well, what's going to happen is that you're going to get to a point where you understand that clients will only want to hear what they want to hear." And I saw that plenty of times working at Circuit City. People would tell me exactly what they thought was the right thing for them, even though it wasn't. It's our job to express and give people solutions. But at the end of the day, they don't want to be bought, they want to buy. So they have to come up with that reasonable expectation themselves. And so you think about that, or you think about coaching, like I said, teaching, training. I'm a big sports person. Played hockey for about 34 years. And so I like team sports. I like the team aspect behind it. And so when you think about how you're talking with clients, how can we come to a solution together to help you solve a problem? And you can see that even with basic needs protection or alternative investment strategies where you're trying to come up with a common goal together. And that's the big part about when you think about what do you know, you can relate stuff to what you used to help you get across what you're trying to portray. Whether it's a product or a sales idea or a solution, equate it to something that you have an expertise in that can help build your rapport and make you sound even smarter. The big one here is who do you know? So, for those who don't know, I've got two kids, two boys, 15 and 11. And as they were growing up, They had play dates. They had soccer matches. We had the same team in soccer for, I want to say, about 5 to 7 years in a row. And you start to become friends with those people. You start to build that rapport. And if I was in this industry then where I am now, it would have been a different story. Fast forward, I'm in this industry now as an independent agency owner. My younger son was in Cub Scouts. We sold a policy on the Cub Scout master because he needed it. And so kids, believe it or not, is a nice, easy intro to a lot of opportunity, given there's a lot of activity where they are around other like-minded people where you can easily spark up a conversation. Doesn't take much to say, hey, I'm Phil, who's your kid? Oh, that one. Oh, awesome. Mine's this one. Hey, what do you do? And just kind of spark a conversation and see if things fly. Are you a social butterfly? Do you like to host social events? So our neighbors next door don't have any kids, but they usually host, 2 or 3 couples to come over and have a dinner party. So are you that kind of person to have a dinner party with your local residents? Are you one to go out and meet people at a bar or a restaurant or something like that? Because if you think about it, every single chance you get when you go out is an opportunity to network. And I mean, I have on my phone a thing called Popple, which is literally a QR code with all my information on it. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, all of that stuff, email, phone numbers. So you can easily network by just having someone tap on your phone with their camera and you're moving on to the next opportunity. Same thing with charity work, either a local church, charity, or school. Those are great opportunities to find, once again, like-minded individuals who share some of the similar passions that you may have regarding doing some charity work or participating in extracurriculars, so to speak. And hobbies is a huge one. So back in Connecticut, I managed a hockey team. I had 13 people on my roster plus a bunch of subs. Here in Nashville, I was part of a team until COVID hit. And so when you think about that, you once again have the ability to use your hobbies, your individual characteristics to bring out opportunity for you to find different types of people to talk to. And then we talk about what can you do. So if you folks are not aware, there are different resources that are available. For example's sake, networking, the old joke that everything happens, all business happens on a golf course. There's some truth to that. I hate to say it, but there is a lot of truth to that. So, a lot of people like to do business in a bar. So that's why I got the little cocktail glasses on the far left, or social networking events like BNI. If you're not familiar with BNI, it's a membership group, and I'll share with you here what BNI is. It's basically they have the world's leading business referral organization. If hundreds of thousands of members who go to these networking events where they go and meet like-minded people who are in very similar situations. And what you find is that when you are in this industry for so long, you become a resource for a bunch of different things. It's not just selling product, but you are a go-to person. So if you join groups like BNI, you will find like-minded individuals who are in different opportunities. And I'll share with you some questions in just a minute on how you could address business owners to accelerate that opportunity. You have personal doctors and dentists. Well, you have to see them once, maybe twice a year. Nothing wrong with letting them know what you do. And if they ever need help, to give you a call. I like to say, where's the money? Once again, kind of relating to the bar conversation. And I'm not going to lie, I know someone who found a very lucrative opportunity by going to a higher end bar. They just sat there. You could nurse your drink. You can only have one drink, or get a sparkling soda or something and pretend it's vodka, whatever. Doesn't matter. But you're in that spot. If you're dressed to the nines, you got the right look, you can start sparking up conversations with, once again, people in that area who are casually drinking, once again, thinking about opportunity on closing deals. They happen at different types of locations. It's not always in an office building, but you could find some really interesting relationships or contacts just by going to a local restaurant or bar. Not your hole in the wall bar, but one that is probably a little more upscale, so to speak. I've had people who we've been at conferences and they'll fly home first class, talk to the person next to them, get a connection, and possibly even get an opportunity. So there are endless possibilities, but you just have to open your mouth and talk to people. I've told several people this, and I think it's always important to understand is that if you don't talk to someone or they tell you no, you're in the same position you were already in. But if you talk to them and they say yes, you are progressing and moving forward. So there's no reason for you to stay in neutral and not talk to them, because it's the same thing as getting a no. When you talk about drop-ins, so across the street from me, just a quarter mile down the road, there is a grocery store, but next to it is a mini mall or a strip where they have a dry cleaner. They've got a pizza place. They've got an Americana food place, martial arts studio, and they also have a orthodontist. So those are all small business owners. You can drop in, ask if the business owner is there, just tell them you're in the local neighborhood, stop by, wanted to see if we could have a conversation, just an educational conversation. It doesn't have to be, hey, I want to sell you something, but my specialty is this, and see if you can spark up a conversation. So once again, it goes back to, you're not losing anything by going in there and giving it the old college try. You're not going to hit every time, but what you're doing is you're getting experience for the next time too. So drop-ins are just as good. So one thing I always like to emphasize is, what's your elevator pitch? What is it that you are saying to get your message across the finish line with that potential prospect? Because you might only have 2 minutes to talk to them. And so you need something to catch their attention. You need something to get them to move out of neutral and into a go position. So if I'm talking to someone, I ask them what they're doing, they could say, oh, I'm just an accountant. Then what do you do? I change people's lives. What do you mean by that? Great question. What I do is I focus on a strategy to help people sleep better at night, knowing that they're protected against things that can happen during their working years, while helping them save for retirement in the most tax efficient way possible. And at the end of the road, we want to make sure that all that money stays in your lineage. So we work on protecting the estate as well. Nowhere in there did I say I sell life insurance or annuities, but the context is there, and it's quick and it's simple. And they say, that's pretty interesting. Say, yeah, if you want to learn more, I'd love to set up just a Zoom or a coffee, something where we can sit down. I can show you everything that I do, and you're on your way. It doesn't have to be groundbreaking. It just has to be something to break the ice, get their interest, and then pull them in. And so, as you're having conversations with people, I'm going to kind of tailor it to two different options here. Your basic needs questions is first. Like, you get that pitch, they say, let's rock and roll. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, shoot, now what do I do? How am I going to get from neutral to the next position with this person? Now we start asking questions. None of these questions are yes or no questions. They're thought-provoking questions for your client to come up with answers. And as you ask the questions, they're targeted enough that allow you the opportunity to hone in and give them exactly what they want. And they didn't even know they wanted it, but now they got it. And they really can't say no at that point because you've given them everything that they wanted. So if someone asks you, what do you think would happen if you didn't make it home tonight? Or you had a disabling event and you could no longer work, what do you think would happen to your family, to you? The bills don't stop. What plan do you have in place for retirement? Now, if you're talking with a lot of business owners, they have no plan. 86% of them have absolutely no retirement plan in place. How would the loss of your paycheck impact your family? Now, a lot of people are sitting there going, well, I have the best cable package, or I have YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, Disney, ESPN, Paramount, HBO Max, whatever. They have all these different streaming services trying to cut the cord, but have actually added more to their dollar per month in expenses for entertainment. So if we think about it, can we find the money and help them protect imminent loss in the paycheck if they weren't around? And oh, by the way, homemakers, you're not left out here. You're just as important as the person making the money or bringing home the bacon. Because if you don't make it home tonight or something happens to you, now all of a sudden that breadwinner has to now figure out how to take care of the house and bring home, the bacon. So I value homemakers as highly as I do any breadwinner because I'm going to be honest, I don't even know my kids' doctors' names. My wife knows all of that. So she's just as important to the mix as I am, as that's why we're a team. So don't let someone tell you that, oh, I've got insurance and my wife doesn't need it because she doesn't work, or my husband doesn't need it because he doesn't work. That's malarkey. And a thought-provoking question is also, do you know how much it costs for kids to go to college these days? So if they have kids, you're looking at probably around 100,000 to 150,000 for them to get through their college education and maybe some secondary education after that as well, like a doctorate or a master's. So these are all basic questions. And when we think about basic needs, we think about term insurance. There is nothing wrong with selling term insurance because what does it do? It protects them, and it also gives you another shot later to convert that term to a permanent, one for their betterment, and two, an opportunity for another sale for you. Now, business owners is where a lot of the money's at. So when you think about it, do you have enough tax deductions? What do you mean by that? Well, tax season is rolling around. Now we got October timeframe where people are finally filing or paying for all their taxes. Are you looking for ways to retain employees? How many people lost employees during the COVID season? Well, is there a way that we can help them retain employees and maybe even get a tax deduction? Are you saving enough for retirement? I am a retirement specialist. I'm here to help find ways to get you to the retirement you want rather than the one you're going to get. Are you familiar with the retirement strategies of the wealthy? That is a very interesting question. If someone came up to you and said that out in the open, would you be intrigued? I sure would, because that is something that everyone wants to know. How do we elevate and get to that next level? Have you heard of a bank funded retirement strategy? We'll talk about that. How's your business set up? So, once again, if you have a breadwinner, and I actually talked to a business owner the other night, and they have a kid who is 27 and a kid who's 14. And I said, okay, you have a business. You don't make it home tonight. Who's taking over? He said, well, my son is. I said, no, he isn't. Your wife is. Your wife gets all your assets. So you need to buy a policy on you with your son as the beneficiary so he can pay off your wife and inherit your business. And how's that 14-year-old going to handle that you gave this business to the 20 plus year old and they'd get nothing? So you have family acrimony. So understanding how the business is set up is so important. And a lot of business owners don't even think about that. who will take over if you aren't around? And do you have a succession plan? Majority do not. Some even have buy-sell agreements and have no idea what is inside those. So when you think about business owners, they have very unique issues that Johnny Everyman, who gets a W-2 and a paycheck and all the other stuff, doesn't have, which makes it more unique, which makes it something that you should probably focus on, educate yourself, learn. We'll do trainings on that too, like business succession planning, buy sells, and all that stuff. But that's one reason why I truly love this industry is it always changes. There's always some rules and regulations that are going to change that force us to continue to stay educated. That's how we retain our customers. It's a sad and daunting statistic, but about what is it here? I'll pull up the statistic. It says that after about 3 years, there's about a 70 to 80% drop off rate for independent financial professionals such as ourselves here in the insurance industry. And why is that? They get complacent. They stop prospecting. They stop asking questions. You could be brand new or you could be a decade in, but you're still going to have the same concern. And it's always coming back to these types of questions to work your natural market. The good thing is as I mentioned before, if you have a solution or if you need a solution, we got it here for you. So when you think you're business owners regarding tax deductions and opportunities, we can offer things like 401k plans. That'll help you retain your employees. That'll help you have the opportunity for them to reduce their taxes because as you put money in your own 401k, you're going to get a tax savings there. And also, if you want to have it for your entire company, so anybody W-2, it's an ERISA law, they need to have the opportunity to participate in the plan as well. And so we can set that up, and that can be set up for any type of plan that you're looking for, whether sole proprietor, S corp, C corp, LLC, partnership plans. And so all of those are available for you to really utilize to help you get in with your financial professionals or your small business owners, asking them if they have enough tax deductions, asking them if they're looking for more tax deductions, because I can't tell you how many times I've done presentations where people are saying, well, can I get a deduction for that? Can I get a deduction? It's always at the forefront of every professional's mind, and we have a solution for that. And you can do that. I'll even share with you because my family, being myself and my wife, are the only ones in this company that are, I guess you could say, W-2'd. And so we actually looked at a proposal for ourselves to get our own 401k plan. And if I can find it quick enough, I'll share it here with you. Just give me 1 second. That's the IRS guideline. Well, can't seem to find it right off the bat. So I won't delay in the process here. But needless to say, is my wife and I we were looking at doing a 401k for ourselves. We have a potential tax concern, and we want to make sure we take care of it. So what we did is we actually went and looked at a safe harbor plan where the maximum that I can put in and my wife can put in is 22,500 apiece. So the 22,500 apiece, we now have 44,500. And then on top of that, we're able to put 30,000 apiece on our safe harbor plan or 60,000. So we can put in pretty much $105,000 this year and get a tax deduction of about 23,000. So there's opportunity here in this business area for you to save money. Um, and from that standpoint, it gives you a benefit and an opportunity. Now, someone said more often than not, People tend to ask, are you a CPA or a certified financial planner? How to build on your credentials in this situation. Well, the great thing about that is when you talk about CPAs or certified planners, uh, all they are professional test takers. No offense to anyone who is a CPA or a certified financial planner. I have my FINRA Series 6 63 license. I also have my 26, so I can manage over people who have those. Those are good for things like stocks and bonds. However, a lot of times those certified financial planners do not like talking about risk management because it doesn't give them a continual asset under management trail. So they don't tend to go into this territory where we are because it doesn't give them the profitability or assets under management that they're looking for. So when it boils down to an expertise, some of it is no, you don't have that, but it's really just a credential by taking a test. I feel my 16, 17 plus years of experience overcome the concern of someone saying that I don't know what I'm talking about. Because I've sat there and talked with business professionals, I've talked to CPAs, I've worked in point of sale with financial advisors who don't want to talk about this stuff because they don't know it. So just because someone has credentials or letters at the end of their name, it doesn't validate it for me. But if you have a client who's worried about that, how do you best fix that? You substantiate it with facts and data. So you go where everybody becomes a professional, the internet, and find things to accredit exactly what you're talking about. And that should help you through that process. Hopefully that answers that question. Um, so another question, how much the sole proprietor can invest in any type of IRA? That is a great question. Now, if you are just doing an IRA, you have your limits of 6,500 for this year. It should go up next year, but this year it's 6,500. You can't go any higher than that. And we have carriers where you can put in as little as $100 a month into an annuity and have it be like your IRA type plan or a Roth IRA. So we have plans like that where the minimum is not 5 or 10,000. You can start out with just a monthly $100. So we have plans for people who want to do just IRA contributions, or if once again you're a sole proprietor and you want to put more away in versus just that IRA amount, you can do a solo 401k as well. So great questions. Um, Another one that can help you get in the door is talking about a bank finance retirement solution. And if those of you who've been in the industry long enough, should realize this is premium finance. So premium finance is a unique value proposition that not a lot of regular agents know. It's a step up, so to speak, but the idea here is pretty ironclad. What you are using is a bank to help you fund your retirement. For example's sake here, if I was 40 years old, average health, and I wanted to contribute $40,000 towards a tax-free retirement strategy, I'm putting $40,000 in a year for 5 years. The bank is putting in close to the same at 34,000 for the 5 years. And then the bank is picking up the slack and putting in just about 73,000 a year for the last 5 years. So when you talk to your business owners and you say, kind of going back to our questions here, have you ever heard of a bank funded retirement strategy? That's this is premium finance. So if anyone has 2 years in a row of $100,000 or more in W-2, K-1, or can prove it on their tax returns of income, then you can qualify for this type of plan. And then they can invest assets, have the bank invest the other half of the assets. And if you see here, I put in a total of $200,000, but by age 65 to 90, I'm getting out $112,000 for 25 years. Plus, I had an initial $1.3 million death benefit, all in, taking out the money to pay the note back to the bank for borrowing their money, and my retirement income of 112,673, I've pulled out almost $3 million tax free on a $200,000 investment, with 800,000 remaining by age 90 if I make it that long. So that's the beauty of leverage. You have that opportunity here. And when you talk about it with business owners, they like that story. Now, does it end that way every time? No. But I've had this conversation, this story where we showed 40,000 and they're like, I don't want the banknote. And so we just go back and we just simply do a LIRP, life insurance retirement plan, and they just paid for it 40,000 by themselves. They'd rather do that than have a banknote. And I am not one to tell someone no, they shouldn't do that. I'm here to give them solutions and for them to ultimately come up with the answer for themselves. Why do I like to do it that way? Protection against future lawsuit. If I force someone to do something, that's on me. But if I give them options and ideas and solutions and they pick, that's on them. So that's why you have to also protect yourself in this industry, because people are trigger happy with lawsuits. And so what next? We talk about the different ways that you can ask questions to talk to clients. You talk about different ways that you can find your natural market, your niche market, whatever you want to call it. You know, really was like I like to say is, what's in it for me? Well, what's in it for me as a producer is the opportunity that's knocking. This is your lead source. How can you better serve your community? And how can you grow through sales and referrals? And then you talk about, what do you want them to get out of this? Teaching, training, coaching. You're solving a problem for them they didn't even know they had. You're giving them updates on what's going on in the industry, because as things change, they're going to want to know what's going on in the industry as well. You are their guide, their mentor, if you will. And a lot of times, if someone passes, you're the first person the widow calls. So it's a very, very crucial role, especially in this life insurance industry. And so when you think about that, what I would say is, I want to just share with you here real quick. I'm going to show you this whiteboard here, and I'm going to take my ugly mug off the screen for a minute so you don't see me just bending down and looking at this. But I've talked to people about this too, is when you're getting started, uh, what do you want to do from a goal standpoint? So how much do you want to make if you're doing this part-time? So I've told people that, and they say, "Oh, well, I want to make about 20K." And so I say, "Okay, well, 20K is a great number. And how do you think you're going to get there?" "Oh, well, I don't know. I'm just going to start talking to people." That's a plan to fail. So if you want to get 20K, you have to crunch the numbers. If you're going to sell term insurance, the average term ticket is anywhere from 500 to 1,000 in target premium a year, depending on the size and scale of what you're selling. So in order to get to 20,000, let's just say it's the 1,000 mark. That means I need to have 50 term sales to get to that number. In order for 50 to place, I need to have at least 150 applications in the office, in the carrier, whoever I'm trying to get to. And in order to have 150 of actual applications in, I need to talk to probably about 500 people. So when you think about that, now you quantify it. How much is 500 in 12 months? I'm going to use my calculator because I can't do that math tonight. 500 divided by 12. That is roughly 42 applications per month, or roughly 10 per week. And so, or excuse me, 42 conversations per month. No, applications. Sorry, I was right. And that's roughly 10 a week. So you have to really work backwards. Then you'll probably want to add some perm in there. Now, depending on your target market, perm can be anywhere from 3,000 to 6,000 is the average. I know some people work with bigger numbers, but then you have to just do the math again. How many contacts do you need to make per week to get you to the number or the goal you're looking for? And so I can help you with that. I can work with you to figure out how you're going to get to your goal. But if you're just starting out, the easiest thing I can tell people is make 3 contacts a day. Hand out your card 3 times. Be able to try and take 3 times a day and get 1 appointment set up for next week. So by next week, you should have 15 more contacts and you should have 7 appointments. Hopefully, those 7 appointments, you'll get friends and family referrals off of that, or the 7 appointments is a husband and a wife, so you get potentially 14 apps. And that starts to lead to the conversation we have up here. So your goal is to talk to people to set up an appointment. Now, if you want to set up the appointment to have someone like myself come in and help you with that, I will gladly do that. Now, just keep in mind, time is money. We can always talk about that in a separate conversation, but I'm here to help you grow, help you make the opportunities available for you. They're out there. You just have to look for them. And so if we kind of go back to what we're talking about here, really when we talk about the natural market, it's who you know, it's what you know, and what can you do. And ultimately from that, you can ask the pointed questions, you can target who you need to, and that's what I'm here for too, is to help you with case design, help you with structure, help you build and grow. You can build and grow teams with us too. So there's an opportunity and chance for you to continue to share that wealth and that knowledge and increase the opportunity for your community. So with that, I'll end the recording now. But if some people have additional questions, if you want to stay on and ask your questions, you can. Keep in mind, once again, this will be updated and put on the YouTube site with all the other trainings too. So